Well, it's one of those stories where if you're just expecting the big axe to fall and all the news to happen at once, it's not happening that way. It's one of these stories where news just trickles out. I'm talking, of course, about the Toronto Maple Leafs situation. Developments in the last couple of hours. Bob, just start with what we know.
Well, very simply, the Toronto Maple Leafs Sports and Entertainment Board are putting feelers out to hockey people as to whether they would be interested in the interim general manager's job of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And one of those people that they put the feelers out to, and they specifically asked, would you be interested in this job on an interim basis, is Cliff Fletcher, the former Toronto Maple Leaf general manager. That's probably what engenders the headline as much as anything else, the fact that it would be a former Leaf GM potentially in this situation. It's not a situation where a contract is being offered. It's not a situation where he's the next general manager for sure. It's simply, as we look at Cliff's resume, which is long and storied history in the National Hockey League, it's simply an inquiry of him. Would you be interested in doing this on an interim basis? So there's a lot of factors there. And we don't,
he hasn't answered.
He's not answering the phone. And
right.
Yeah. Well, it's a story that continues to develop. I had a chance to speak with John Ferguson, the current general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, about 6:35 Eastern. He is unaware of any change. Also contacted Richard Petty, who is the president and CEO of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, and asked for his comment regarding the interest shown towards Cliff Fletcher and asking whether or not Cliff Fletcher would have interest in becoming the interim general manager. Petty says, quote, "As I have said to everybody, I am not talking about management changes. If and when they happen, I will talk to the media then," unquote. But I can tell you guys this much. There is outrage across the National Hockey League, particularly from those who are colleagues, fellow general managers of John Ferguson, who believe it is unconscionable at the way Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment continues to treat not only John Ferguson, the general manager, but the Ferguson family.
Do something. Just
fire him.
Do not
or
leave
declare
him
your
hanging
intention
like that. Just if you're going to do it, do it. Of course, I suppose you have to have somebody to come in. Now, I just want to clarify, by the way, Cliff Fletcher's not under contract with anybody. The Phoenix Coyotes are still paying him correctly.
Well, he's being paid out on a contract,
right.
So there are financial implications that could come.
But he's not
play.
really working for anybody right now. Okay, so if he was, let's see if we can jump about 3 steps ahead. If Cliff Fletcher or whoever were to take this job on an interim basis until somebody else can be found, that's a huge job because the next couple of months has a bunch of moves which may shape the next few years.
Well, it is. You're right. It's a hypothetical situation. Whether it's Cliff Fletcher, whether it's anybody else, even if John Ferguson Jr. stayed in the job, the thing then becomes, what's the philosophy? Historically, under John Ferguson Jr., the Leafs have been building for the here and now, trying to get better, trying to be a playoff team, trying to be a contender. That's not working. Now they look, being closer to the bottom in the league than they are to a playoff spot, they have to start looking at divesting themselves of players like Matt Sundin. And we all know he's got a no trade and all the issues on that. But whether it's Sundin, whether it's Tucker, whether it's Blake Cabina, McCabe, there's all sorts of veterans on this team, some of who are probably unmovable at this point. That's going to be the first challenge for whomever is the general manager of this team. Divest themselves and start building for the future. Second thing is you got to build for the entry draft coming up. The Leafs could be picking in the top 5 if they keep going on the current course. So there's all sorts of great defensemen available after Steven Stamkos, after Drew Doughty, the first 2 picks, Alex Pietrangelo, Zach Bogosian,
and at
Luke
this rate, they might get into those top 2 picks at the rate they're going right now.
And who knows how long it takes to get this whole process done, because the goal is to find a full-time general manager in the offseason. You got free agency on July 1st. You got the draft in June. This is an important time for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They better make sure if Ferguson's not doing it, not their guy, they better find a guy that is and get going on it.